Heavy rain and flooding remain the main concern across southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales over the coming days, even as the ex-tropical cyclone stalls off the southeast Queensland coast. Now, over the past few hours, we've seen bands of rain and thunderstorms wrapping around that ex-tropical cyclone system. We've seen falls of 50 to 60 millimetres or even more across northeast New South Wales and southeast Queensland since 9 o'clock this morning, with strong winds continuing for some parts as well. The Gold Coast has seen sustained winds above 60 kilometres an hour for the last couple of hours, with wind gusts even stronger. The ex-tropical cyclone is still sitting just off the coast, however. It's become extremely slow moving over the past 6 to 8 hours and is likely to remain slow moving through the rest of today. We do still expect it to gradually make its coastal crossing though, and then continue moving inland through the next few days. In terms of how that will look for our rainfall, one of the main players is going to be the wind direction. Previously, we've seen winds coming from the southeast, but now we're seeing the winds shifting to more of a direct easterly flow. The reason this is important is that direct easterly flow pushing along the coast is going to lead to a greater convergence of those showers and thunderstorms as they interact with the land. Greater convergence will lead to more fuel for any rain, showers and thunderstorms that do develop. Through the rest of today, we're going to see that risk of heavy rain really increasing, particularly through southeast Queensland, the southeast coast and southern parts of the Wide Bay and Burnett in particular. We can see the winds converging, squeezing together in this area, really directing the moisture through those parts. That means for the Gold Coast, the Scenic Rim and for Brisbane, the wettest period is likely to develop in the coming hours, continuing into this evening. Now, that's not to say we may not see heavy falls outside of that area that I've highlighted here. Heavy falls are still a risk anywhere through southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales, but they're more likely to be a little more isolated and tied to those convergence areas and thunderstorms outside of this area that I've circled here. As we move into tomorrow, we're going to gradually see ex-tropical cyclone Alfred moving inland and away from the coast. We're still likely to see heavy falls through southeast Queensland, but we'll start to see some more heavier falls ramping up across parts of the border ranges, the Dorrigo ranges and other parts of northeast New South Wales as well. Again, heavy falls are still possible outside of this area I've highlighted. This is just where we're really going to see those changes starting to come through as we go through into tomorrow. We have a severe weather warning in place for heavy to locally intense rainfall. It covers areas across the southern part of Gari all the way down to areas just south of Nambucca Heads. Now, in this severe weather warning area, the heavy rainfall may deliver 24-hour rainfall totals of 1 to 200 millimetres over the next day. Where those falls are highest, we may see those totals pushing up to 2 to 300 millimetres, most likely about elevated terrain with thunderstorms and in those convergence areas. It's worth noting that damaging winds is still mentioned in our severe weather warning. We could see isolated wind gusts above 90 kilometres an hour that could bring down trees, tree limbs and power lines on top of the damage we've already seen through these areas. As we move into Monday, we may start to see the system moving south and then to the southeast. Now, this is just one of several forecast scenarios that may play out. One way or the other, though, we are still expecting to see a gradual easing in the rainfall through northeast New South Wales and southeast Queensland, trending back to more scattered showers. At the same time, we may see moderate to heavy falls picking up just a little bit across southern inland Queensland and northern inland New South Wales. It will really depend on how quickly this system moves and exactly where it tracks once it moves inland. A number of minor to major flood warnings are still in place through northeast New South Wales and southeast Queensland. Now, catchments are saturated in these areas, particularly close to the coast, which means they'll respond very quickly to any further rainfall that occurs. Rivers rising rapidly, with flash flooding a huge risk as well. Because the system, the ex-tropical cyclone, has stalled off the southeast coast, that means we're also seeing a delay in the timing of when those flood peaks are expected. We're now looking at flood peaks for many of these catchments occurring overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Although, of course, it will depend on the catchment in question, how much rainfall they've seen over the past few days and how much rain we see overnight tonight. Flood watches are in place for broader parts of southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales in anticipation of that system moving inland and taking the moisture and rainfall with it. Over the coming days, we may see several of these flood watch areas upgraded to flood warnings as that water moves through the catchment systems. It's also worth noting that we do still have a coastal hazards warning in place for the coastline between Noosa Heads all the way down to Yamba. The damaging surf and abnormally high tides may still lead to coastal inundation and coastal erosion over the coming hours. We should see that gradually starting to ease back in the next 24 hours or so. This weekend, rainfall and flooding continue to be a huge concern for southeast Queensland as well as northeast New South Wales. Find the detailed forecasts and warnings via the Bureau's website and via our weather app. Stay safe and we'll catch you next time.